All right, at this time, I will call to order the regularly scheduled committee meeting for the Village of Midlothian, Wednesday, May 20th, 2020 at 7 p.m. Roll call, please. Clerk Moscow.
Trustee Kennedy?
Here.
Trustee Crowley?
Here.
Trustee Gillis? Trustee Gillis?
Here.
Trustee Ivan?
Here.
Trustee Killily?
Here.
Trustee Kreis?
Here.
Mayor LaRue?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, sir. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Deputy Clerk PULASKI, was there any public comments this week?
No, there was none.
There was none?
There was none.
All right, thank you. Since I have Superintendent Sperry and Engineer Huss on the call tonight, I guess it was kind of be public comment. I wanted to make a little short statement about the flooding event that we had Sunday night over the weekend. Just wanted to make everyone aware that all of the pumps that Public Works normally put out to pump groundwater, stormwater from one location to another were all put out throughout the day in the normal locations, and they were all running. There was a question about a pump that is typically put out at 148th and Kildare. That pump is specifically put in place to remove water from the sanitary sewer into the stormwater sewer in that location. The stormwater system, or the sanitary sewer system, is a closed system, and they do that in attempts to help prevent sanitary sewer backups into people's basements over there. As you all know through, I'm hoping you read all my letter, that MWRD, Metropolitan Water Reclamation District, had found out that the village was doing this practice for a number of years, and they mandated to the village that this practice stop. That is why that pump did not go out. Mindful that Superintendent Sperry and I were in conversation all day, we talked about that, and even if we were to overrule or go around the MWRD's mandate, the stormwater system was full, and there was nowhere to put the water from the sanitary sewer system. Yes?
Next comment on that.
Yes, please.
I just wanted to point out that a lot of people are mistaken that they think that pump at Kildare helps with the overland flooding. It has nothing to do with it. The water that runs through the neighborhood and ends up in the backyards behind Helen's house, that has nothing to do with it. Doesn't alleviate any of that. As you said, it only to reduce the basement backups, the sanitary sewer. So a lot of people are misinformed about that. So it wouldn't have made any difference if that pump was in. That water that overbanked at Kilpatrick and ran through the neighborhood still would have happened, still always happens when we have that pump in. So I just wanted to let everybody know that.
Right. And unfortunately, as the rain continued into the night, Midlothian Creek overbanked and proceeded to flood our whole downtown, which provided no place for the Natalie Creek overbanking floodwaters to be pumped to. It was a very unfortunate situation. I feel terrible for everyone that suffered loss again. That's why I'm asking the board tonight to approve waiving permit fees for anyone that has to do any work because of the flooding. I also wanted to put out there that I can assure you that village officials were out all day and into the night documenting and videoing real-time situation as we experienced it. And Superintendent Sperry held a meeting with the project engineers and construction company that following morning to address what we saw. I also want to state that, as all of you know, the Natalie Creek flood control project is only 50% complete. And while the retention ponds are in place, the work upstream at Colmar, Kenton, and Kilpatrick is not done, which continues to create the chokeholds and restrictions in water flow. Once those areas are complete, though, more water will flow through there and be collected by the retention ponds, but I just wanted everyone to know that Superintendent Sperry has already met as early as Monday morning with the project engineers and the project construction companies, and they were looking into it and going to figure it out. So that's all I have to say on that. So.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
And this would probably be either for Joe or Engineer Huss. So the whole thing when MWRD said you could not pump water from the sanitary sewer to the storm sewer, is that a result, because didn't they revised their WMO? Was that it, when was it, last year, wasn't it? No, it wasn't the WMO revised last year?
Yes. Yes.
Was that as a result of the revision to the WMO, or was it as a result of something else?
It's not because of that. They've been giving us a hard time about doing that for the last few years. And I had to go downtown and meet with them, explain to them what was going on. And I had told them that that was the area that we were addressing with our I&I program. And they were okay with everything, but they asked me not to do it anymore in the future. And so why we stopped.
Thank you.
All right.
Mayor, if I may just make a comment about all this, as part of CRS, the village, as a CRS community, we're required to document these flood events as well. So I have been collecting all the documentation that I have seen from our residents off of Facebook, but I would ask all of the trustees and Clerk Moskal, if you guys were out and about on Sunday, if you were taking photographs and videos at all, if you could please email all of those to me. I'm going to be meeting in the next 2 weeks when everybody gets a breath. I'm going to be meeting together with Joe and with Nick so that we can make sure that we have all of our documentation together, so that in the future, if there are disaster recovery funds that are available that the village can apply for, we will have all of the documentation that we need. If you remember, when we were applying for the grants for Jolly Homes and Belly Button Hill and Roman Heights before, we did not have a lot of documentation as far as photographs and that type of thing. And we were kind of struggling with getting some information from a lot of the residents for that. We were able to get that grant for Jolly Homes, but not for Belly Button or Roman Heights at the time. So again, documentation is really important. If you've got any videos and photographs that you have, if you could forward them to me, I would appreciate it.
Kathy, I have, I know we were on the phone when I was driving around and trying to take video and pictures, but I have a number of pictures that I started sending to your email address. The problem I'm having is I have also about 7 or 8 videos of different areas that I videoed, and it's too big. I don't want to get it. Yeah. It won't let me send it via email. It won't let me download it on the site.
Another option would be file sharing service like Dropbox, which is free.
Yeah. I tried ours.
There, we're going to get some technical difficulties if possible.
Sandy?
All right.
Sandy?
Thank you.
Hey, Sandy? Sandy, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Why don't you call me? There's a free product called Hand Bracelet that will lower the size of the videos.
Were you able to forward yours, Carl, from Sunday?
No, I haven't. I have not done that.
Okay, moving on. Superintendent Sperry and Engineer Huss are here tonight. We're going to start the meeting off with them so they don't have to stay on and listen to me speak, I guess. But
It's riveting.
it is riveting. I know. I have a face for radio. So they want to talk about the RTA and the Jolly Homes project. So RFQs. So, all right, go ahead.
Joe, you want me to jump in?
Yes, James, please.
To everybody on the line, you should have draft documents in your packets. Basically, PBS stands for quality-based selection for anybody that hasn't heard of it before. Essentially, every time you have a engineering fee over $25,000 that calls federal funds, you're supposed to go through a quality-based selection process. Both of these projects have fees exceeding that amount. What you have in front of you are the policies procedure document. As noted, the abbreviated version will be advertised in the paper. The goal is to have this for official passage at the board meeting 1 week from tonight. Basically, all it says is it's advertising to consultants that if they would like to prepare a proposal for the village to review, please supply it by, in this case, by the 19th of June. If we were to advertise it immediately after next week's board meeting, that will be closer to 3 weeks of advertising time. And that's basically the long and short of it. To respond to Trustee Kreis's additional comments that she forwarded earlier today, I can certainly incorporate those and any other edits that any of the other trustees may want looked at. Open for questions.
I just want to let you know, James, that I don't believe that the entire board received that packet of documents. I could be wrong. Did we all get that?
No.
Just go to Karen and I and Dr.
No, I sent it to everybody.
Oh, you did send it to everyone? Okay.
When did you send it, Joe?
It's earlier this morning. That's what we finally all together. But it's in your emails.
I didn't see it, sorry.
Wait, James, can I ask a question, or do we know, I haven't had time to go, look at the county board agenda documents, but do we have these signed agreements back yet? Because that would all be contingent on getting those agreements in place.
No, we do not. We originally sent it to Dominic Tochi, who we had been dealing with. Joe and I can attest, we just had Tim Kleist reach out to us 2 weeks ago, wondering where they were at, which I said we sent them to Dominic. I can follow up with Tim tomorrow and get a timeline on where those are at and when we expect them back. But you are correct. We obviously don't want to be entering into any contracts with anybody until we have that back.
Until we have the agreement back. And the other thing, Joe, that I noticed is the stormwater management capital plan. I'll take care of this tomorrow. It's not on, it's under Rain Ready. And so if any vendors or engineers are going to be looking for the plan, I'll ask Sharon to get it on under the stormwater page on the village website.
Very good.
Has the village, I might have missed a meeting somewhere along the line, but has the village signed the document with the county for Jolly Homes?
Yes.
Yes.
Did sign, okay.
All right.
But we don't have the executed documents back from the county, which probably have to be approved by the Cook County Board.
Any other questions? Thank you, Engineer Huss, and thank you, Superintendent Sperry. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right,
Your evening.
moving on to trustee business. Trustee Kreis.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. The first item I have on the agenda is discussion and potential approval of the indemnification agreement with OAI for maintenance of the rain garden. I did not get this document back until late Monday afternoon from OAI, and they did incorporate all of Attorney Valadez's comments. And the reason I had asked for approval was we are getting into the season now, and so the sooner the board approves this, the sooner the maintenance on the rain garden can get started. Now, I haven't received any comments, so I don't know if I should make a motion for approval. Does anybody have any comments?
I actually have a question. I had not heard of the company that they're hiring, the Cardno from Monique, so I looked them up. And I noticed that their home base is in Australia. Is this part of the company that came to our village of last year to talk about different things, the luncheon that you had had?
Oh, no, those were the engineers that were the American Public Works Association. No, Cardinal is a big ecological services company.
Yeah, I looked them up online. I just thought it was interesting. I thought maybe this might be like repetition from them coming, the people from Australia coming here. I thought there was some connection.
No, but maybe they know our engineer friends in Australia.
All right, well, make a motion then.
No, wait a minute, I have a question.
Oh, hold on.
I have questions. I've got a question. First of all, I'm a little concerned about the fact that this is a three-party document. If our agreement is with OAI for OAI to provide this, I'm confused as to why we are entering into this document also with Cardno. On this document, I'm concerned with the fact that Cardno, let's see, this is page 2. This document gives them the right to come onto the property and do some testing of some sort. I mean, and it says here that they're not going to charge us for it, but basically we just need to hire a vendor to pull weeds and to maintain the rain garden. So to me, this document, this might be a boilerplate document that they use for other clients, but it does not really seem appropriate for our use. That's one issue. The other issue is that, and I thought that we had discussed this as a board before when we discussed contracts in general. Trustees should not be listed as contact persons on a contract with regards to legal notices. So it should be the village clerk.
I can put the clerk's office, I can ask that they revise it to the clerk's office. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, so your name can certainly stay on there as the contact person if you're gonna manage the vendor, but as far as legal notices go.
They need to go to the clerk's office, I agree.
But again, back to the body of this document, and it's hard because I don't know how to make comments to myself. I don't know how to make comments on the document, make notes to myself. So, I apologize. I lost track of where my note was on this. In paragraph 2, rights of access. They get unlimited access, which is fine. Contractors shall have further right to make such inquiries of government agencies and utility companies and make such feasibility studies as it considers appropriate. Why would Cardno need to come to Midlothian and do these kind of studies on our rain garden?
I know, the only thing I can say, Kathy, is maybe it's boilerplate, but Attorney Valadez did review this document.
Well, that's fine, and I appreciate the fact that he reviewed it, but still, we didn't get much time to review it ourselves and ask these questions. I'm sure Attorney Valadez reviewed it from the legal point of view, but I'm just looking at it from, some of the tasks that this company is allowed to do, which are fine and they're not outrageous, but I'm just confused as to why they would have these tasks outlined in this document when all we need them to do is pull weeds.
Well, if you send me your comments, I can certainly get them to them, and hopefully these can be resolved by next week. I was just hoping that we could move this along because, again, we are in the middle of May, almost the end of May, and that garden definitely needs attention.
I guess, trustee, what access to the property are you concerned with?
No, I'm not concerned with access to the property. Under the right of access paragraph, it says here that the contractor shall have further right to make inquiries with other government agencies, utility companies, and to make such feasibility studies and analysis as it considers appropriate.
I think it's correct that.
It's a red flag to me. Why do they need to do a feasibility study on our rain garden?
I don't think they're talking about the feasibility study in the sense of sending out to engineers and things. I think it means, is there anything that would occur, and again, it's boilerplate language, that would require them to find out, for example, Julie, and to make inquiries on behalf of the village to find out where utilities are, to make other inquiries to find out what they find in the rain garden. Again, this is boilerplate language. Maybe for the rain garden, they don't need that access, but certainly there may be a situation, something comes up, if there's an old pipe somewhere, they want assistance, and again, boilerplate language to address those things. I really don't see that there's any risk or any danger or anything extraordinary about a company that is going to be doing landscaping having the right to inquire as to what's there and to enter upon the properties.
Okay, that's fine. I just find it very odd that we have this third-party document when it should be a two-party document between the village and OAI.
And I didn't.
I have no issue with it then.
Yeah, I didn't know how that worked out. I presume that that was part of the agreement, that there was going to be this third party involved in the contract.
So we want to wait a week, or we're ready to move?
I need to know what the total cost is.
What's the total cost?
There is no cost, it's grant funded.
No cost.
But does it say, does it say this in the document? Well, it doesn't say that in the document, but it does say in the document that, OAI, the payer, will pay Cardinal, the contractor. Okay, this is one issue I do have. In this document, it says, I think, let me go to the exhibits. Exhibit A, under their maintenance, it says that they're only gonna do maintenance 2 to 4 times. 2 to 6 times. In the past 3 years, when we had, when OAI did the maintenance the first year, and then Julia Plum on her own did the maintenance the next 2 years, she came out at least 5 or 6 times. Even when she worked for OAI Highbridge.
Well, it says 2 to 6, so if it needs it 6 times, I'll be on them to make sure they're out 6 times.
I'm not worried about that, I just don't want them to show up and say that they only need to do it 3 times.
Well, it says 2 to 6, so I think that does give us some protection, doesn't it, Attorney Valdez?
Oh, certainly. The range implies that as needed.
Okay.
The only other issue I have is that a trustee is managing the contract between the vendor and us.
And you would like?
I prefer an employee to manage the contract, not a trustee.
And you would like that to be?
Well, Joe, obviously.
Oh,
It falls under his purview, landscaping.
correct. Superintendent
Well,
Smith.
I'm not really managing the contract, we wouldn't have this had I not made the connection, so we can certainly, and it's gonna save the village money, we can certainly add Joe's name.
Please do. That's a good idea. All right, so now we're ready to move, or you want to wait? All right, make the motion.
It's everybody's pleasure, tell me what they want to do.
Make the motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the access indemnification agreement, and I will request the changes be made as discussed.
Second.
Is there any other discussion? Roll call, please, Clerk Muscle.
Trustee Kreis?
Aye.
Trustee Gillis? Aye. Trustee Keating?
Aye.
Trustee Crowley?
Aye.
Trustee Iyer?
Aye.
Trustee Killian? Aye. Motion carries.
All right.
Thank you.
Update on census outreach. I dropped off probably 300 of the coloring books that are in Spanish to the administrative offices for School District 143 last week with crayons and with posters and flyers in Spanish, and they are going to do their best in their newsletter. And when they distribute these lunches and breakfasts to the Spanish-speaking families to help get the word out. I also reached out, and I don't have a lot of coloring books. I have no crayons left, and I have just a handful of coloring books. I reached out to Library Director Jennifer Cottrell, and they are going to start curbside pickup the end of the month. They're going to, everything that they receive in the library is going to be quarantined for 72 hours, sanitation. I don't know that they have any idea when they will physically open the library up for patrons. But she has agreed to start distributing this information as well, and she would take as much as I could get in the coloring books. So I've reached out, and I will be getting more coloring books and crayons, and I am also hopeful to be getting some other items that we can distribute in the village to promote the census. So anybody else knows anybody that would like these Hispanic population coloring books, let me know, and I'll do my best to get them in their hands, because I looked at our numbers again today, and I think we were 67 or 68 point something, and we are well below many of our neighboring communities. The only other thing I would like to bring up was Adam Slade from the Metropolitan Planning Council had asked me would I have time for a phone call. So I spoke with him on Friday. And you all may recall that I brought up last week the grant opportunity that DCEO rolled out, the fast track grant for shovel-ready projects. And he offered the Metropolitan Planning Council services to write the grant. And I want to read you one of the emails that he sent. It said, MPC is alerting all of its partner communities of the grant funding and would like to assist in procuring that funding. This is a time-sensitive funding stream, and we anticipate requests from other partners in the region. Midlothian is a special partner, and I would like to prioritize staff time to assist the village before we select other communities. Joe Sperry is going to work with him, and it looks like MPC will write the grant. Robinson would have written the grant, but they would have charged us. And again, there's no guarantee that we would obtain this grant funding, but I think our relationship with the Metropolitan Planning Council is really, it's just a great resource for the village, and they're providing all kinds of services for us pro bono. And that is all I have this evening.
Fantastic, thank you so much. Trustee Ivan.
Thank you, Mayor. Can you guys hear me okay? Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. A poll was sent to all the board members to ask about their availability for the next financial meeting. Please respond back to Maggie by Friday. Let her know what days you are available. The Departmental Safety Committee meet as well this week when we work through some practices to be put into place once Village Hall opens. Tom, our health inspector, and Jeff, our representative from ICRMT, were participants as well. Suggestions include motion-activated hand sanitizers, floor strips for the lobby, and ramp designating social distancing. More details are to come out on that later. Please remember to send any information you'd like to see on the water bill to Maggie by May 28th. Reminder email will be sent out to everyone as well. And the third thing fourth thing I wanted to mention is that we're doing these grants. Make sure that the department head that's involved with it gets a copy of the grant so that it's available for Maggie in the audit when that need arises. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you, sir.
Carl, I thought all grants had to go to the clerk.
You'd have to ask the clerk.
Clerk should be getting copies of those things, but if there's a department that's working on them, certainly those documents can stay there, or a copy of them can be there.
Right, but we should, besides the department head working on it, we should send a copy of all the grants we have to you so that you can do what you do with them, right?
That's fine, yep, and I think most of our copiers should already have our email addresses in there, so all people need to do is walk it over to the copier and scan it.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you. Deputy Chief McClellan, did you have something tonight, or were you just bored, or?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to see if there was anything that, because I missed a safety meeting, I sent one of my guys, and he had to leave. And then just see if anything was brought up about the flood. Just
Okay.
any information, that's all.
No, you're welcome to join any time. We just didn't, make sure you knew you didn't have to be here if you didn't want to.
No, I know, I just wanted to see if there was anything.
All right, cool. All right, Trustee Gillis.
Yes, and by the deputy chief being here, in case you weren't aware of it, Chief Hal Wagner is on vacation. He'll be returning to work on June 1st. The only thing I have tonight is that I just want to make residents and the board aware that the U.S. Fire Administration is always working for Fire Saving America, is participating in Home Fire Sprinkler Week, which starts today. They have a website, home-fire-sprinkler.org/home-fire-week-2020. If anybody is interested, if there's any residents out there that are considering maybe down the road putting sprinklers in their home, which is great for your homeowner's insurance, today would be a good week to find out about that. And as far as the Historical Society, I haven't posted anything online lately. We have had a couple inquiries. One was from a lady that was inquiring about possibly purchasing a home in a country club. I wasn't able to find any information out on the Thorn home, but hopefully if anybody is looking for anything, they can still contact me, and I'll be more than happy to help them out with anything until the Historical Society reopens. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Trustee Cavey.
Thank you, Mayor. First thing I want to discuss is the compliance mowing. I sent you copies of 4 proposals that Superintendent Weiner received, also with some copies, with a comment from him. He said after speaking with the bidders, he recommends that we go with Pete's Lawn Care. He has the best grasp on what we're looking for, plus his routine service is the most complete. Up mulch, trim, and take pictures. So you can see on the proposals, the first one is from Roy's. He did it for us last year, and this year he is basically tripling his price. He wants to charge the village, where did he be?
$279.
$297.
Yeah, 200, there it is.
That's right at the top.
Yeah, $297. So Pete's is the next one. He has a range based on the size of the lot, which is pretty standard. I think that Roy's actually probably charged us similarly last year. He did charge us more money for the larger lots, which is typical and usual. So that was fine. But you can see he's for a standard lot he's going to charge $90, and that's about what Roy charged us last year. I did speak to Superintendent Weiner with regards to the payment terms. Bullet number 2 stated that the bills had to be paid within 20 days, and I reminded Superintendent Weiner that there's no way we could get bills paid that fast, that we would need 45 to 60 days. So Pete's did agree to make a revision, and I did get that document earlier today, but I was dealing with car issues, and I apologize. I just, literally 2 minutes ago, forwarded the email to you that I got from Nick that has the revised proposal for Pete's Lawn Care. So, the next one is from All Pro Landscape Snow Removal. And then the final one is the email that Fred had received from Mr. DeLuna. So again, Superintendent Weiner interviewed all of these folks, and he is recommending that we go with Pete's Lawn Care. So, does anybody have any questions or issues?
I just have a comment. I don't know if these are good prices. I mean, I have no idea. So I reached out and I didn't get a response. I had sent an email to Russ Ryan at the land bank to find out who the land bank uses and what the charges are. Just more for comparison to see if Pete's is in the ballpark, because I have no idea. And again, we don't always recoup these monies, and I think right now we have to be, extra cognizant of every penny that we spend. So if I get that information, I will share it with you, Kathy.
Well, I would like to move forward to approve one of these tonight because we've got about 60 outstanding properties in town that need to have their grass cut. Have been given reminders, and citation is next. I realize we just had a flood last weekend, but this has been going on way before the flood occurred. And quite honestly, we were looking forward to engaging Royce again because they did it for us last year. But when Superintendent Weiner got the quote and saw that it was tripling, there's no way the village can afford to pay that. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe that the village does recoup some of these fees because people go to court, they get a citation, the building department is following the ordinance. So the way it works is the property owner gets a notice of a reminder. If they don't follow through and cut the grass, then they get a citation. Once the citation is issued, then it goes to the grass cutting company. And if the grass cutting company arrives at the residence and sees that the grass has been cut by the resident, then they don't cut it. So there's no fee charge. But if the company does have to cut the grass, they go ahead and cut the grass, and then the village goes back to the resident to get reimbursed.
All right, yeah, we need to move on sooner than later.
I'm fine with moving forward with approving the contract for this year, but Don, could you talk to Joe just to check into next year whether or not it's economically more feasible for us to possibly hire a seasonal employee to do this?
I don't think you can hire a seasonal employee by their contract, but I'll look
Well,
at it.
maybe that's something we should look into with regards to when the contract comes up, because, I think that, that a seasonal employee might be able to save both us and the residents some money in this area, but I realize this year it's not possible.
Okay,
All right,
we'll keep that in mind.
anything else?
The $90 that they're charging is pretty much in the ballpark.
If I, very quickly, if I could just add that once we go through the administrative hearing process and get a judgment by the hearing officer.
That's going really bad.
Once we get a judgment from the administrative hearing officer, we need to have a process within the village, not legal, because it's just economically not feasible to have the village attorney or Mr. Representative.
You guys turn your microphone off.
Is he at Don's house?
Oh. Okay, so we should have a process in which someone within the village administratively goes to file a lien on the properties for this grass cutting. That is the way in which we will get paid whenever the property is sold. So we can put a process like that together, but the problem that we've been having is that we get judgments, we put them on our file as being a debt to the village, but when a bank takes over or a new owner comes in, those liens are just extinguished because we haven't filed those liens. And again, I'm not saying we do it for each $200 grass cutting, but if we get a couple, we need to have administratively, procedurally, the means to go ahead and file that.
All right, so you want that on the consent agenda next week?
Well, I wanted to approve it today, if nobody minds if we approve it today.
Make a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the for Pete's Lawn Care Inc.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? Please, with the dog. Roll call, please.
Trustee Kaving,
Aye.
Trustee Crowley,
Aye.
Trustee Gillis,
Aye.
Trustee Hyden,
Aye.
Trustee Killily,
Aye.
Trustee Kreis.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, everyone.
Anything else?
No.
You're postponing the fee schedule, right, for next week?
Oh, I'm sorry. Superintendent Weiner was a little bogged down at the end of last week and on Monday with issues regarding Aunt Martha. So he was not able to get me his final comments until yesterday. And we went over the comments, and I did realize then that I did make an error in the 10th section, Mayor. You had asked me to be $25, and I referenced it. In one spot is 25 and the other spot is 50, so that can be corrected. And there were a few other corrections that needed to be made. I made all the corrections. I sent a redlined copy to all board members, including Maria. And Maria is going to make the final revisions, and she's going to put the fee schedule and resolution on the consent agenda for next week.
Perfect. So you will not be bringing it up tonight?
That one is for the
Correct, I will
camera.
not be bringing it up
And if you're
tonight.
talking
Thank you.
about
Anything else?
his Zoom mic should pick you up.
Nope, not for me.
All right, trustee Kilby.
The only thing I have to report, Mayor, is that Helen Lakovich resigned as Director of Keep Midlothian Youth. And that is all I have.
Okay, thank you so much. Trustee Crowley?
Just a couple of things tonight, sir. First of all, the CPC event, Junk in the Trunk, which was scheduled for June, has been postponed. We are looking for rescheduling it towards the end of the season with everything going on with the COVID virus. Second, our Masks for Midlothian program is doing very well. We've gotten a lot of positive feedback from residents. Our signs, people are very happy with the signs. I delivered another 9 or 10 today. The company we're using is doing great. They're getting us signs within 5 days. And a lot of the feedback I'm getting is that people are really happy that they have a way that they can contribute and do something if they're able. So please continue to tell your neighbors and family about it. We are still doing mass giveaways. We still are being able to do mass giveaways once a week. Residents that sign up on the village website are getting emails weekly to be able to drive through and pick up the masks. And our police department is delivering masks to homebound residents that otherwise would not have a way to get masks. So I think it's a positive program, and we've gotten a lot of feedback for it. Parking and moves court. I think I mentioned this last week. We had a meeting last week regarding what we're going to do with our parking and moves courts. I have sent an email. I believe I copied all the trustees on it. And we will be having our follow-up and final email to secure that everybody knows what to do so that we can practice safe social distancing and ensure that everybody has due process. So that Zoom meeting will be early next week. The department heads I've spoken to and emailed have all asked that their employees that partake in parking and move support partake in the Zoom meeting. So I'm going to schedule that, and if anybody besides those who are the million people that are on it right now wants to participate in it, send me an email and I will send you to the Zoom meeting. But I think we have a really good plan going forward on how to start reopening and being able to keep people safe.
I just have a question, Sandy. When is it I did not get the email about it, but when is the first date?
I believe it's June. I'm sorry, I have to look because my dates are all mixed up right now. Hang on 1 second, Karen.
Okay, but that'll still fall under phase 3 where only 10 people are allowed in the building.
So I will forward you the email if you want. It's very long. But basically what we decided to do is for phase 1 of our reopening our moves court is we are going, Mayor LaRue was able to reach out to the Park District. We are going to move our courts to Ray Lodge so that we have a larger space and that we can keep social distancing and a parking area where if we need to, we can have people entering one way, having court leaving another way, and having, a flow of people as opposed to people just sitting there. We're also looking into, although I think this is more me than most people, into Zoom or some other technical form of meetings for people. that obviously is gonna be a little bit more tricky, although I know Cook County in some ways is doing that already. So I've reached out to a few people that I know, and I'm getting that information, and I'll be able to pass it on to Superintendent Weiner and Chief Delaney, so that we can move forward. The fire department, the police department, public works, the building department, and administration has all been involved in the process of moving this forward. So I'm hoping that it moves very smoothly. I actually have no doubt. But like I said, I think our first quarter is going to be kind of a trial and error. You know, we have some backup plans where we can let people check in, possibly texting that they're there and then calling them in when their time is up. It's just, we're going to have to do, it's going to have to be a work in progress, and we'll adjust as we have to. Chief Hotwagner and Deputy Chief, well, actually, I'm sorry, Joe, I don't think you were on the email, but I will copy it to you. Chief Hotwagner was going to look into some regulations with regards to the size of rate day and what we need to do. So, again, we're still in the planning phases to make sure that we can do everything from taking payments through credit cards or how we're going to handle that to social distancing. But I will add you on to the Zoom call if you'd like, Trustee.
Oh, I don't need to be in the Zoom call. I'm just thinking the way I've been doing enough Zoom calls, but I guess the way I read the governor's order, only, you know, it's like church, you can only have 10 people. You can only have 10 people in a room, 10. So
I think that depends on the size of the room, just like places like Sam's Club and the retail stores that will be opening up with social distancing. It will depend on the size of the room and how many people are allowed to be in there at one time. So again, I did ask Chief Hotwagner to look into that. He was looking into that for me. He's on vacation, but I do have to thank him because he's been responding even though he's on vacation.
Of course he has. Yeah, I know. This is all new territory for all of us.
Yes.
My problem, I think, my problem is that I think that room's gonna have to be disinfected after each time.
Well, so, you know, I did kind of do some research on that, Tom, and that was one of the issues we were gonna bring up. Unfortunately, I don't think that's something that we have to do. I think that things that people touch, if we had something that people were to touch every time they walked in, that is something that we would have to disinfect, like a cart at a grocery store. But clearly, a lot of our businesses that are essential businesses are open, and they're not letting one person in and disinfecting the whole store. You know, but we're going to do what we have to do to make sure people are safe, to make sure people are comfortable. We're not going to put people in a position that they feel they have to do something, go somewhere that's going to put them in any jeopardy or harm. And if somebody's not comfortable, then we will certainly work out whatever we have to do with that person, whether it's a Zoom meeting, whether it's a phone conference. We will also, run that by Attorney Valdez to make sure that, legally we're doing what we need to do. But like Trustee Price said, it's uncharted territory, and I feel like we really have to do something instead of continuing, because the bottom line is it's also costing the village a lot more money to keep sending out these notices and rescheduling and things like that. So I think we have a really good base. I don't feel like it's going to be the end product right now, but I think everybody's on the same page in wanting to make sure that what we do is safe for both our employees and the people who have to come into our courts.
Good job. Anything else tonight?
Just a couple more things. I received a call earlier, and I'm sorry, Trustee Ivan, I didn't get to talk to you about this. I received a call earlier from Civic Plus, which is our web manager. And the reason I received the call is because I'm our Code Red contact. Apparently, Civic Plus now offers or maybe it's always, emergency management software similar to our Code Red. The reason I'm bringing this up now is there were a couple of things that this woman had informed me that I thought was very interesting, and I thought, I'd bring it to the board and see how, what everybody kind of thinks. If you guys want me and Trustee Ivan to take this a little further, I'll set up a meeting. Civic Plus, like I said, is our website manager, and they offer something similar to Code Red. But they have a few features that I don't believe Code Red has that I think might be something we might be interested in. For example, they offer call-outs, emergency and non-emergency call-outs in 7 different languages. So you would record whatever message you have going out to the residents, and then you can pick, if somebody can sign up to their website to receive it in a different language, which I thought was, something that might interest some of us and something we can look at. The other thing that she said when she called me was that they do offer a mechanism to be able to automatically put those messages on our website if we want and on our Facebook page. So I will coordinate with Trustee Ivan to make sure he and I are on a conference call to be able to talk to them and see what options they offer and how it affects different parts. But I just kind of wanted to throw that out there to everybody and see, if we're going to even look at this, if anybody else had any suggestions or thought it was a good or just a poor idea and just leave it the way it is.
Certainly look into it.
Yeah, that's a terrific idea.
And then, okay, no one else had anything else?
No.
Okay. Last thing I have is, I had been working with Mayor LaRue for the last couple of weeks. I have been following the Illinois Municipal League's website and their emails. And one of the things that I had noticed on there was that they have a grant finder program. And so after talking to Mayor LaRue, I did contact them and apply for a login and password for this grant finder program that they offer. I did get the email confirming the password that we were approved and that we can have access. I'm going to send that to all of our department heads. I've already sent it to the clerk and to Mayor LaRue so that they have it. If any of the trustees would like it, I'll be happy to send it to you as well. I don't know if it's going to be more or less of what we already get or what everybody already knows, but at least it was an option for our department heads to be able to see what's out there in the Illinois Municipal League area. So, other than that, unless anyone has any questions, that's all I have.
Could you send it to me as well?
Absolutely.
But I think we're pretty well connected that when things do come up, somebody is typically notified.
I do. One of the nice things that I like about this grant finder program, and it's something that I've talked to a number of people about, the mayor and I've had this conversation, I think everybody knows I'm really concerned about the mechanics of the COVID-19 funding and packages and how our village will be able to appropriately apply for those. I've spoken to Graf from the Illinois Municipal League, and I think he kind of shares our frustration in the fact that it's very convoluted and you have to read document after document and there hasn't been a lot put out. So one of the things that I feel this avenue will help us with is they will be making sure that when you have this access, they'll be emailing you opportunities under the stimulus package. So I think that will be beneficial. My email is registered, but I've also given it to, I've also, like I said, shared it with the mayor and with the clerk. I'll share it with our department heads. I'll send it to any trustee who wants it. You can log in, and anytime I get an email regarding the stimulus, I will forward it to whoever wants it as well.
All right.
That's all I have.
Thank you, ma'am. Attorney Valdez.
Okay, we have numerous items under legal that I will disclose under the closed session.
Thank you. All right, under my business, a little late on the draw here, but May is Motorcycle Awareness Month, so I'd like to read this proclamation into the record. Whereas the members of the Gold Wing Road Riders Association, GWRRA, Motorist Awareness Program of Illinois and other organizations continually promote motorcycle safety, education, and awareness, programs to the general public and to the motorist community of Illinois. And whereas motorcycle riding is a popular form of recreation and transportation for thousands of people across the state and nation, and whereas it is crucial that the citizens of our city and state be aware of the motorcycles on the roadways and recognize the importance of motorcycle safety, and whereas state and motorcycle organizations across this country will be conducting a variety of activities to promote motorist awareness and safely sharing the road with motorcycles, and will be reminding riders to be more visible to others. And whereas the motorcyclists of Illinois have contributed countless volunteer hours to their communities, and whereas all motorists should join GWRRA MAP of Illinois in actively promoting the safe operation of motorcycles, as well as promoting motorcycle safety, education, and awareness. Therefore, I, Gary LaRue, Village President of Village of Midlothian, Illinois, do hereby proclaim May 1st, 2020 through May 31st, 2020 as Motorcycle Awareness Month, and encourage motorcycle awareness and safe motoring for all. Thank you.
Mayor, I'm sorry, I forgot one thing very quickly. I just wanted to thank the CPC for again, this year, recognizing our law enforcement officers with, during National Police Week. They did provide lunch and dinner to shift 1 on Tuesday, and then we'll be again doing it to the next group of our officers on Thursday. So it was very generous, and they really appreciate it.
It is very generous. Good group of people. All right,
Yes.
Brief update on the proposed TIF. It is still going forward. We are in receipt of the proper documents. Attorney Ballard is looking them over, and we plan to have a ordinance on the June 10th board meeting for the public hearing concerning the TIF amendments. Following that, we have to obviously be published in the paper, and then we're hoping to have our first meeting of the Joint Review Board on June 30th. So it is moving forward. We have a tentative completion date of the end of August. So by the end of summer, we should have it in place.
Thank you.
Also, Deputy Clerk PULASKI, as you probably know, has been working tirelessly on the Hometown Hero Project, and you might have noticed some of the banners starting to go up now. I believe she is up to 28 applicants. Is that the number? She's shaking her head yes. Okay. The banners look great, so keep spreading the word. It's a great program. And lastly, update on the governor's stay-at-home order. He announced today that, let's see, bars and restaurants throughout Illinois will begin opening on May 29th with outside seating. So outdoor beer gardens, cafes will be allowed as long as they're following the 6 feet apart and away from sidewalks. Staff will be required to wear masks. Of course, golf courses are easing restriction as well. Foursomes will now be allowed along with carts, and both indoor and outdoor tennis courts. Groups of 10 may gather for outdoor activity, and all state parks will also reopen on May 29th. Boating and camping activities also get the green light on May 29th, along with retail stores for in-person shopping. Stores will be required to provide for and follow social distancing. Nail salons, spas, tattoo shops, hair salons, and barber shops will also get the okay to open, again with restrictions requiring masks on staff and social distancing or limiting capacity. So that's good news. Things are starting to open back up, and we will work with all of our businesses to hopefully provide a seamless transition. And that is all I have tonight. Clerk Moscow? Yes?
Were you gonna ask, were you gonna discuss, waiving permit fees? Do we have to vote on it?
I said it earlier, but yes, I am asking the board's allowance to waive permit fees for anyone that needs to do projects, repairs due to the recent flooding. So I can't imagine anyone having a problem with that.
I think it's a great idea, sir.
So that sounds good to me. Good for you? Okay.
Yeah. I'll notify I'll notify Superintendent Weiner.
Cool. Clerk Maskell.
I just have one thing, and that is a reminder that with Monday being a holiday, anything you would like on the agenda needs to be to Maria and I by Friday. And that is all I have.
Thank you. Then at this time, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn to closed session to discuss actual or potential litigation against the Village of Midlothian.
I'll make a motion.
I'll make a motion. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? There will be no further action following closed session, so we are in closed session.